Welcome to the Ultimate Cartoon Movie Hub. From timeless classics to the latest hits, we bring the best of animation to your screen. Subscribe and join the fun. Welcome to one of the strangest DC movies, which begins 6 months after the death of Superman, known to everyone, a day many called Judgment Day. This is because it was the day they lost the man who defended them. We see a man named Godfrey hosting a talk show, saying that people should man up and rely on themselves, letting go of everything that comes from Krypton, meaning Superman. Then there's an interview with some journalists who believe there is still hope since no body was found, suggesting he is hiding somewhere, waiting for the right moment to appear. We leave the chaos on television and go to the house where Lois is sitting alone after losing him. We see her dealing with his belongings that he left before disappearing, thinking about him and feeling sad. His adoptive parents, who took him in when he came to Earth, arrive to try and comfort her, but Lois tells them she can't be at peace as long as she doesn't understand what happened to him. She realizes she needs to sit with someone who can explain things to her slowly, and arranges to meet with them. She meets with them, and they advise her that she might not necessarily understand or comprehend what happened. They suggest she should move on, accepting that he died in a crucial battle where he saved the planet. When Lois finds no solace, she goes to a party hosted by Lex and his organization, attending in disguise without anyone noticing her. During the event, Lex announces that while the loss is considered a disaster, no one should be afraid because he has an alternative. He introduces someone who enters, pretending to be a ghost to receive applause. Lois leaves the party, and Donovan, a famous biologist, keeps questioning Lex about Superman's death and where the body is. Lex reveals that Superboy was artificially created in his labs using Superman's DNA. Lex tells Donovan to go back to work and stands with Lois to console her for her loss. However, while they are standing, an explosion occurs, and the Destroyer arrives, an evil version of Superman that no one can handle. Superboy stands against him but is caught and thrown to the ground. Before the Destroyer can finish him off, two more versions, Cyborg and Metal, arrive to stop him, forcing the Destroyer to flee, leaving a bad impression on the people. After the battle, Lois tells Lex she knows everything about her husband and that he didn't die. Lex admits that he didn't actually die but was injured in the last battle, which affected him. That's why he's resting in a secluded place until he can resume his mission. When Lois returns home, Cyborg arrives at the balcony, telling her that she knows he's the real one but had to transform after being injured in the last battle. Lois doesn't believe him and asks what the last secret he told her before he died was. He claims he doesn't remember because he lost his memory after being hit, prompting her to tell him to come back when he remembers. Afterward, Metal manages to perform many heroic acts, saving people, keeping the newspapers talking about him. This marks the beginning of Lex's plan, who wants Superboy to work with him like others do, instead of being useless. He sits with her in the car, saying he's doing her a favor by putting him with the ones who will guard him during the press conference, urging him to be ready to step in and show off if anything happens. Superboy arrives for the conference, where Lois announces that after Superman's death, they have no blessing other than the Justice League, which will have a new tower as their headquarters. During the conference, a strange portal opens in the sky, and aliens descend to challenge the entire Justice League, including Superboy. They go to fight them in the sky, while Batman and Flash stay to handle anything on the ground. The aliens manage to reach Lois's car, but Cyborg arrives to fight them off and safely removes her from the car. The strange portal keeps getting closer until it causes all the superheroes standing there to disappear. After this incident, Lois declares that he is the real Superman after saving her from death, making him a golden statue. When Lex sees this news, he gets angry, breaks the TV, and decides that this was a failed experiment. He prepares to end it. As he holds the syringe, he confesses that Superboy was created in the lab from Superman's DNA, but he's unsure why he turned out this way. Before he can kill him, Donovan convinces him to keep him alive, arguing they have nothing to lose and that this is the best experiment they've ever conducted. Lex agrees, but then decides Donovan knows too much and kills him before he can defend himself. Later, Cyborg is seen standing in front of his grave, placing a flower, but suddenly feels a strange headache and sees Darkseid before him, leaving him confused. Meanwhile, Lois is watching everything from a distance. After he leaves, she discovers the gravestone reads, Terry. She then goes to Metal's house, where he removes his mask, revealing Dr. John. Lois tells him not to worry. She knows he's John. He explains that Superman saved his life in the past, and that's why, after his death, he decided to help people and fill the void as much as he could. Lois tells him to forget the sentimentality and focus on what she explains what she saw in the cemetery. Together, they investigate the name on the gravestone, discovering that Terry Henshaw was an astronaut on a spaceship with her husband, Hank Henshaw. The ship was destroyed, leading them to realize that cyborg Superman is actually Hank, who was visiting his wife's grave. The next day, Hank holds a conference, now fully embracing his identity as Superman, telling people that all the superheroes, from Superman to the rest of the Justice League, sacrifice themselves. As a result, he forms a new team and invites anyone who wants to volunteer to join him. A man from the crowd steps forward to receive a suit with superpowers, inspiring others to volunteer. John and Lois stand by, puzzled by Cyborg's access to such technology. When John tries to trace the source of the technology, he falls into a trap set by the Destroyer, who emerges and attacks him, leaving John unable to defend himself. Lois decides to visit Lex to understand more about the technology he used. Upon arriving, she encounters Superboy, who is feeling down, and tries to comfort him. Her phone rings, and she knows it's John. She answers to find the Destroyer holding him and beating him, but she notices something strange. This Destroyer is a hologram, not Superman or anything, and it's all graphics. But she's puzzled as to why, if it's a hologram, it's hitting Hank even though he's good. We then understand that this Destroyer was made to protect Superman until he can return after the accident that happened to him. We see Hank receiving instructions from Darkseid, who tells him he wants him to open a portal to Earth so he can take control quickly. Anyway, there's no Superman or Justice League. Even the current superhero is just a kid. Meanwhile, Cyborg's supporters are increasing after learning about the great power they will gain, which annoys the rest, who see that Hank is messing up, and that distributing power to everyone will cause chaos. They all decide to hold a big demonstration in front of the new tower they saw as a mess, raising banners and chanting against Cyborg. They travel to a distant galaxy to see if they are still alive and fight some strange-looking aliens. After the battle, one of them tries to return them to Earth and open a portal, but he tells them the only condition to return is for someone to open the portal from Earth, as happened when they came. Otherwise, they will never return. We return to John, who is being trained by the Destroyer until suddenly he wakes up, but this time in a normal human form, weak and unable to move. It is explained to John that he was fighting all along, and that the Destroyer's sole mission was to ensure he returns as before. At this time, Lex discovers he can intercept a signal from Darkseid to Hank, giving orders to make Lois understand he's evil and wants to eliminate them. Lex tells her not to worry. He has a plan for this day. He shows her a box he took after the first visit to Darkseid and says it can open the portal to bring back the Justice League for a fair fight. When Superman finds the world in chaos, with everyone fighting, he takes a spaceship, saying he must help John against Darkseid. Lois and Lex arrive at the tower to enter with the box and interrupt Darkseid's meeting with Hank, telling him to stop what he's doing and join them because Darkseid is no good for him. Hank gets angry, grabs her by the neck, and starts choking her until he hears an alarm. He looks at the screen to see Superman approaching them in a spaceship and is shocked that Superman is still alive. Seeing Superman alive, he tells Hank to take the box, put it on his stomach, and open the portal for him and his army to come and kill Superman once and for all. Indeed, he follows the orders, and a large circle forms for the soldiers until he remembers he wants to take on Superman himself to stop the portal that's being destroyed. He goes to grab Superman and keeps hitting him. Superman, without his powers, is like any ordinary person and can't defend himself. We learn that Hank's intense hatred is because he blames Superman for the ship incident that he and his wife were on, saying Superman should have saved them. Since that day, he joined Darkseid to end Superman until the time was right. Hank also orders his followers to kill anyone in the city associated with Superman, while Lex tries to fix the box to open the portal. When two of Hank's followers approach Lex, John and Superboy arrive to fight them and protect Lex, who uses wires from the broken robot to fix the box until it works and opens the portal to bring everyone back to Earth to distribute them. Batman gives each one a mission. Hank escapes to say, "I'm the one who will take down Superman, and I won't let anyone stop me." He flies with the tower they're in to take Lois, who is tied to a column, with him. The tower flies until it reaches the atmosphere. Lois manages to grab a space gun to shoot the handcuffs holding her to the wall. When she comes down, she finds Hank holding Superman and hitting him, with Superman not understanding anything. She takes the gun and shoots Hank, but the bullet has no effect on him. She opens the solar panel in the tower, causing a laser to cut off Hank's hand, but it regenerates as if nothing happened. When Superman sees no benefit in what he's doing, he implants a crystal with data in Hank's head, causing Hank to see the Destroyer killing him for real and sees Superman tearing up after losing the battle. Afterward, all of Hank's followers lose their powers, return to being ordinary humans, and fall to the ground after flying around like ninjas. Superman returns to Earth with his wife Lois, announcing that the real Superman has returned and that Metallo and Cyborg were just illusions, and Clark Kent is the real Superman. Superman then takes Lois to a restaurant, inviting her to dinner after this long absence. He tells his wife that Superboy went to live with the same people who adopted him when he was young, a step that will help him become a hero because they know how to raise him. But in the middle of the romantic dinner, Wonder Woman calls him, asking him to come quickly because they need him at the tower. Superman apologized to Lois and leaves for the tower to find them all gathered, agreeing they must fight Darkseid, who keeps jumping at them and won't leave them alone. They decide to build a strong army and go to Darkseid's land to defeat him. Superman agrees with the idea, and we also see Lex standing with them, even though he's not a superhero, but he's there out of camaraderie. That's where it ends, hoping you enjoyed it with us. Don't forget to like, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe and activate the bell to receive our videos first. See you soon, and goodbye.